So without much ado, I would like now to get down to the business we are in, and that is to invite Chrishmal, who is a well-known lawyer in the country, a very outspoken man, and you would have seen him as a very controversial figure in the recent debates that went through in the judiciary changes of the Chief Justice. So I'm sure this is going to be a very hybrid and a very energetic session by Chrishmal. And he is also accepted and recognized as international law consultant by the Law Society of England and Wales. So I'm sure that he can add a lot of value to the post-breakfast session. Over to you, Chrishmal.
I don't know how to live up to that introduction. A lot of controversy there, but I'll try to keep it as non-controversial as possible and harp on what we're here to discuss. Well, you know, the subject in front of me, what I'm supposed to speak to you on, don't worry about all that. At the outset, don't worry about any legal jargon that's on it. It's only there because we lawyers like to talk in a language that normal litigants don't understand. But if at all nothing is making any sense to you, there is a question time at the end, I believe, Nalin, and you can certainly ask me for what you don't know. But just try and follow the gist of the conversation. The idea is that we get the main focus of this is, as Nalin said, some of us have been vehemently vociferous, if I put it that way, in certain events that took place in our country recently. And this, as some of us have agreed, is a matter that we need to go out and explain to the public as to why we did that. And so this is one of those occasions that I've been given, which I will try and focus on some of the key points, trying to keep it as apolitical as possible and from a legal perspective, so that perhaps people like you at the highest forum of your separate corporate echelons will understand why perhaps some of these corporate lawyers who you wouldn't usually see on the street walking up and down Lipton Circus, would take to the streets. Why did they do that? It's actually when we are in court that we make money, not we are on the road. So hopefully you will get some insight into what it is all about. But to do that, we need to place ourselves on a platform. I'm sure you would have heard this term sovereignty being said a lot recently. I don't mean to underestimate your intelligence, but for those of us who may not be that familiar with how sovereignty works, may I just set it on a platform? What is it? Where is it? You see, my juniors in chambers have been very artistic, as you can see, when they prepare the presentation. Sovereignty operates to everyone, whether it's that ordinary citizen silver that you see up with the Hartal board, like people like you and me, or rather people like me, the citizen silver, or the rich corporate executive that you see next to that. Sovereignty operates equally to all of it because it's in us. Sovereignty is in us, and it may be of information to some that, don't worry, I'm not going to give a law lecture, but this is important that the constitution that we for ourselves have given to ourselves in this country at Article 3 says that in the Republic of Sri Lanka, sovereignty is in the people. It's not anywhere else. It's not in any institution. It's in the people. Sovereignty is in the people, and it is inalienable. Cannot be taken away. Sovereignty includes the powers of government, fundamental rights, and franchise. So it's important for us to realize that we are sovereign, unlike perhaps the United Kingdom, where sovereignty lies in a monarch or a king or a queen, where people become their royal subjects. The last time I checked the constitution, we don't live in a monarchy. We live not in a kingdom. We live in a democracy where sovereignty is in us, not in a king or a queen. So therefore, it is important for us to realize as to where these powers that govern us come from, and comes from there. Because Article 3 says, in the Republic of Sri Lanka, sovereignty is in the people. And going from there, we, the people, have, perhaps in prudence at the time the legislation was being formulated, given these three organs of government our sovereign power in trust, or the concept of public trust, to govern us in the best manner possible so that it would ultimately benefit us. That's the concept of a trust. I'm sure talking of rupees and cents would apply to you in the corporate sector. Say your old grandmother died, she gave 100 million rupees, you can walk up to a bank and said, keep this in trust for my grandchild. When he turns 18, give this to him so that the fellow can open up a business. Now, the beneficiary of that money is the grandchild. So, the beneficiary of our sovereign power is us. It is given to a government made up of these three institutions for a time being. For a time being to exercise in trust, what is called public trust, for our ultimate benefit. Now, as we go on, I would like you to think whether in the sequence of events that I am now taking you through, whether that sovereign power that is supposed to be ours, that sovereign power that is supposed to ultimately benefit us, has in fact been used so. For abundance of caution, once again, Nalin, I picked the first cabinet of Sri Lanka because I didn't want to have this. So you will see there, the executive power of the people, Article 4B, is vested in a president and a cabinet minister. Laws which are made by the legislator. Our legislative power we have vested in the parliament by Article 4A of the Constitution, and that is to make laws for us. So there is an institution making laws for us. Our power given to one institution to make laws for us. Our power given to another institution, the cabinet, to execute those laws. Then our judicial power given to courts and the system of courts to make sure that the execution of the legislative power is done in a lawful manner. This is how the sovereignty works. These three organs exercise our sovereignty.